your system just changes. The hormone shift and change that happens, it impacts your gut absorption, utilization of these nutrients. It's not that you are doing anything wrong. The meat suit that you live in shifts and changes in function. And this is where it can get really difficult. This is where it can get so frustrating for us to just continue to make progress. To feel like I was doing this thing, I was on a good path, and something changed, and I'm not sure what it was, but all of a sudden it's not working for me, and I feel totally lost in the woods now. What the ever-loving what is happening? How do I combat it? It can be literally just as simple as bumping that protein, because your body needs more protein to do the same thing. Hey there, welcome to the Female Health Solution podcast, where we discuss women's health, hormones, and everything else in between. Join me as we dive into the tools that you need to live your healthiest life. How do we get more lean muscle? How do women get more lean muscle? How does the female body, the female frame, actually add more lean muscle? Because so much of the information out there is all about like slimming down and toning up and all these things. And, oh, this is how you lose weight, blah, blah, blah. Yet the stress that we're under, the decreased nutrients that we're encouraged to eat with dieting and all that stuff actually depletes our system more, which loses muscle mass for us. So let's talk about it. I am Dr. Beth Westy, women's health and hormone expert. I'm also host of the podcast, The Female Health Solution. Welcome back. Yay. Here we go, diving right in, talking about muscle and what we need to do to target muscle and build it as quickly as we can for the female body. So I'm going to talk about a couple of different, I was going to say ages. That's not right. Phases for women that we go through. We're going to talk about having a female cycle and not having a cycle, what that means for your hormones, whether that be from being on a birth control of some kind or having a complete hysterectomy or you're in menopause, right? There's lots of reasons that you don't have that ebb and flow of estrogen and progesterone throughout the month. Those are the kind of the two categories. Overall, note that it can be more difficult or take longer or take more tactics for the female body to put on lean muscle than the male body because we just don't have the amount of testosterone in our systems that men have, right? We have some, but it's just like a little bit comparatively. Yeah. So what do we do? How does that work? What do we focus on, right? First thing that we focus on is getting enough protein in. Protein shakes, protein bars, increasing protein, lean animal proteins, right? Get it in throughout the day. Protein pacing. You need to fuel first. I don't care how much you're lifting. I don't care how much activity you're doing, right? If you're not getting the fuel in, it's not going to translate into having more lean muscle tissue. So that's the first thing. Protein, and more, and protein. And by the way, protein, and then protein and protein. Oh, should you get, yes, yes, protein. You don't need to overdo it, but I have seen firsthand women break a plateau, improve their lean muscle, all this stuff by getting even just as little as 20 more grams of protein a day. I have seen women shift their life, transform their life by doubling their protein. No joke. Because they were getting 60 grams a day and they were like, I get a good amount of protein. And I'm like, okay, rattle off to me what you do typically in a day. And they'll be like, well, I do this and I do this. And I'm like, it's not bad, but you're only getting 60 grams. Oh, okay. That's pretty good, right? I was like, you need 120. You need to double it. And I show them how to do it. I tell them what to do. It's easy to do. It's just shifting your mindset about how you're prepping, how you're shopping, what you have available, what you're snacking on. And it changes everything from there, literally like that. If there was one thing that I could tell women to do to improve their health, it's protein. The number one nutrient I find women are deficient in, protein. That's what you need to build lean muscle. So protein. Second thing is some type of resistance training. You have to strain the muscles to build the muscle. Muscle needs to be broken down to build back up stronger. Now, if you're not used to weightlifting or if you're not used to strength training or something like that, you have to start slow. It can look like doing push-ups at home on your knees or on a counter, like the kitchen counter. Do push-ups on the kitchen counter. If you can't do a push-up on the floor, on your toes, that's okay. Build up the strength. Slowly do it. Start with push-ups on your countertop. Do that for 2 weeks. Then go to push-ups on your knees. Do that for 2 weeks. Then try to do some on your toes. You'll be amazed at how you can just build up that strength and go through that process and be able to build that lean muscle for you. So that's the thing. Now, also keep in mind, women in general do not build lean muscle like men do. So we can put on a half a pound to a pound of lean muscle a month. And that's with eating protein and utilizing some type of resistance training, right? Those are the two basic things. Things that get in the way and reduce this. And again, this is across the board for either one is stress, illnesses, injuries, sleep disruptions, all those things, and hormones. So we'll talk about the hormonal piece next, but those are the things that can get in the way. So if you're wondering, I'm doing the protein, I'm lifting weights, why is this not working for me? You can literally have cortisol that's sky high, that's sort of stealing all that protein. Yeah. There's a super fun thing. It's called gluconeogenesis that takes your lean muscle and turns it into sugar and then stores it when you're too stressed out. Yep. Really, can it not? I know, right? Can it not? But it does. And for the female body, the stress triggers and things like that are very different. So it's important that we acknowledge that and take that into account. Okay. Hormonal shifts and changes and differences and what can be beneficial about having a cycle overall is that your system is in more of a rebuild mode in the first couple of weeks, right? In that follicular phase, in the estrogen phase, basically from the time your period is done up until the time you ovulate, that is the time you want to focus on building lean muscle the most. You're going to have a faster recovery, a faster muscle rebuild, all that other stuff. You can push yourself more, harder, faster, quicker between sets, all of that. In the luteal phase, the progesterone phase, after ovulation and before you have your period, it's just a slower process. Not saying that you can't lift heavy, not saying that you can't push yourself at all. You would just want to make sure you're getting more nutrient, more minerals, and really getting proper rest to have that muscle turnaround happen, because it's just not quite the same priority at that time frame as it was earlier. That's it. When you are in menopause or don't have a cycle, you don't have that ebb and flow of estrogen to progesterone, your estrogen and progesterone levels are very low. The one hormone that you have left is testosterone. So one of the things that we do with Dutch testing, of course, is making sure that we are targeting the right hormone levels for you, again, with watching your nutrient levels, your gut health, your cortisol levels and all that, but really taking advantage of testosterone and saying, okay, do you have appropriate testosterone for your hormonal situation? And are you combating that with the right nutrients? Now, when your system, again, I'll use menopause as the example, whether or not that's the case for you, even if you're like, yeah, but I had a hysterectomy, I'm 35. Okay. Your body doesn't have that ebb and flow of hormone. So we're going to talk about it like a menopausal body, right? We really need to shift and change some of those things besides focusing on testosterone to take advantage of that. Nutrient wise, it looks like ramping up things a bit more. You need more protein to do the same job that protein used to do. So using the example of what I said of that gal, I told her to eat 120 grams of protein, like, hey, you're getting 60, you need to double it. If she's having a cycle, that's great for her, right? This was for her specifics. This was for her, this was for her specifically, her recommendation for her height and goals and all that other stuff, right? But when that same gal goes through menopause, what her goal protein intake is going to be 140. Upping the protein, getting even more, because the body needs more protein to do the same job that protein used to do. Your system just changes. The hormone shift and change that happens, it impacts your gut absorption, utilization of these nutrients. It's not that you are doing anything wrong. The meat suit that you live in shifts and changes in function. And this is where it can get really difficult. This is where it can get so frustrating for us to just continue to make progress. To feel like I was doing this thing, I was on a good path, and something changed, and I'm not sure what it was, but all of a sudden it's not working for me, and I feel totally lost in the woods now. What the ever-loving what is happening? How do I combat it? It can be literally just as simple as bumping that protein, because your body needs more protein to do the same thing. Otherwise, if you're eating the same in menopause as you were before, you're now being undernourished for what your new body needs. You live in a new body. You have to adjust to it. It just needs those different things. That's it. So it's these simple changes, but effective changes that make all the difference. Now, if you're wondering, well, what's my level specifically? How do I know what to target? How do I do this? I'm so glad you asked. You know where to go. Go to the links. Go to wherever those links are that you click and get on the wait list for the next program that we run. I will teach you how to do this. I will teach you more. What I talk about on the podcast, what I talk about on any type of social media platform or anything is seriously just the tip of the iceberg. It is a drop in the bucket of the information that you're going to get. So if you are feeling like, wow, I learned a lot, or this is really informative, or this helps me understand how my body's different, or this is really helping me move in a better direction, this is literally just the beginning of it. Once I know you, know more about you and your specifics, and can understand your hormone levels and your labs and all this other stuff, it's so easy for me to say, oh my gosh, do this. Like, here's your exact blueprint that I'm going to hand to you that lets you go exactly in the right direction the fastest. This is the shortcut. I'm going to give you the shortcut in this program. No more running around, no more wasting your time, no more feeling frustrated about this. It is literally the shortcut, the shortest distance from here, from where you are to where you want to be. Right? So again, I hear from women all the time that are like, yeah, I did this and I increased my protein. I'm feeling so much better and da-da-da-da-da. That's great. But if you're still having trouble sleeping and you're still feeling really stressed out and all that other stuff, you're missing out on the other part of it that's really going to take you the rest of the way, meaning building more lean muscle, taking you to the place where you're like, I almost feel invincible because I feel so amazing. I feel incredible. This is the healthiest I've been. I've got this, and nothing is going to hold me back in my health from anything that I want to do. Right? That's the most incredible piece that I love working with women on. I want you to take a minute and think about how much time you have spent, how much energy you have spent, and how much time during the day is wasted with you wondering, doubting, looking things up, questioning yourself, all that other stuff, versus learning some information and just barreling like a freight train in that direction that's actually going to get you a result. That's the benefit of us working together. No more guesswork, no more wondering. Again, I call it the shortcut. It's like the cheat code to getting to your results. That's what we do. So hopefully this has been informative. Hopefully you learned something, talking about protein, talking about building lean muscle. Again, it is just different for the female body, so we have to address that differently. It's not bad, right? It doesn't mean something else is better or worse for you and wherever you're at. It just means we follow a different process, the process that's right for you. So, all right, that's what I got for you today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. And let me know if you have any questions. I always love your feedback. I always love connecting with you guys. I love you as a community. You're amazing. And it's so much fun to do this and to share this information. So, all right, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you would like more information, just head on over to drbethwesty.com for all the show notes and information from today's episode. And if you're looking for more community, more support, you can find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I would love to see you there.